Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Shifts and Puck podcast news pack for Friday, January the 21st. You can, of course, follow us on Twitter at Shifts and Pucks, Facebook.com, the Shifts and Pucks podcast, YouTube.com, the Shifts and Pucks podcast. We thank you for helping us reach over 200 subscribers. Continue to like and subscribe there. You can also follow us on Twitch.com, the Shifts and Pucks podcast, and subscribe to wherever you get your audio. Leave reviews. Give us a 5-star review if you feel we're worthy of it. Let us know. And also like us and retweet our stuff. We have an opportunity with a contest for the scheduled game in April between the Vancouver Canucks and Calgary Flames at the Scotiabank Saddledome. It's in concert with the Pig and Duke. It is an opportunity to hang out with Chris, Sean, and Devin, get some food at the Pig and Duke and drink, and then you head over on the limo to the game. It's a Hockey Night in Canada game. It'll be an 8 o'clock Mountain start, 7 o'clock Pacific start. And check out our podcast this week for the word of the week. And there as well, you can message us at Shifts and Pucks for that. Retweet gives you an entry for that as well. Any of our pod clips. We did a pod clip about Jack Eichel and his lineup in with the Vegas Golden Knights. We've also done clips on Chris Tanev. On Mondays now with our new look, we switching. Mondays is Canucks talk and NHL talk. Wednesdays we focus more on the Calgary Flames and NHL talk, hockey talk as well. So check all of that out. Let's go through the games in the National Hockey League here today. We have 7 games today. One is the first. We'll look at the top 2 teams in the Metropolitan playing in Carolina. It's the New York Rangers 26-10-4 taking on the Carolina Hurricanes 26-8-2. The Rangers come in on a 3-game winning streak. The Hurricanes coming in on a 2-game winning streak. So that Metropolitan, between the top 3 teams, the Rangers, Hurricanes, and Penguins, there are 3 points separating them from the top part there. Pittsburgh, of course, in action against the Columbus Blue Jackets. As looking at them, the Penguins come in with a record of 24-10-5. They've won 3 in a row. They've won 8. They've won 8 of their last 10. Columbus is 18-18-1. 11 points out of a playoff spot at this particular point in time. We also have Dallas heading into Detroit, and Dallas comes in outside of the playoff position, 19-16-2, 40 points, 4 points out of a playoff position, coming off a win in their last game against the Detroit Red Wings, who are 18-7-5, and they've won 2 in a row, 7 points behind Boston for that last wild card position in the Eastern Conference. We've got the Arizona Coyotes taking on the New York Islanders. Coyotes, of course, one of the worst records in the National Hockey League, last in the West, 10-24-4, but they have won 2 in a row as a team, the Islanders, that have been one of the big, perhaps, disappointments of the year, 13-13-8 with 32 points. However, they've won their last 2. And we've got Minnesota and Chicago, the Wild, are coming in the first wild card position with a 22-10-3 record, 47 points. That's because they're in one of the toughest divisions in the league, the Central Division. And Chicago is third last in the West, 15-18-6 with 36 points. And then you've got Florida Panthers coming off a 6-0 win over the Edmonton Oilers last night, facing the Vancouver Canucks back home. No JT Miller, no Bo Horvat, no Connor Garland, no Thatcher Demko, no Brock Besser due to COVID protocols. And the Tampa Bay Lightning are in action tonight against the Anaheim Ducks. Actually, sorry, there's 8 games we have, pardon me. Tampa Bay coming in, of course, Tampa Bay right now is second in the Atlantic Division, tied for first. Panthers are at 59. So Panthers coming in 27-8-5 with 59 points for their game tonight against Vancouver. Vancouver, where they are sitting here, just to touch on them a little bit, 18-8-3, 5 points out of a playoff spot with 2 games in hand in the San Jose Sharks. And then you have Tampa and Anaheim. Tampa coming in 27-9-5 on a 4-game winning streak, 59 points against the Anaheim Ducks, who are at 45 points in a playoff spot at 19-16-7 because they're third in the Pacific. However, they are slipping. They have lost 4 in a row, so a bit of a slide with the Anaheim Ducks as they come into this game. And then the St. Louis Blues are taking on the Seattle Kraken. The Blues, third, 23-11-5 for 51 points. However, interestingly enough, if they were in the Pacific Division, that would be good enough for first place. That is 1 point ahead of the Vegas Golden Knights, 24-15-2. The Kraken are the second worst record in the West at 12-23-4. However, they have also won their last 2 games after going on a 9-game losing streak here earlier this year. Brad Marchand will be out with a injury. That's one of the he, of course, someone would consider him in a Hart Trophy conversation, but he is the points leader, goals, assist, and points leader right now for the Boston Bruins. He got injured on last night and from a hit from Garnet Hathaway, which Hathaway does not appear to be going to be suspended for at this point, and it's an upper body injury, but he will not play Saturday's game against the Winnipeg Jets. The Bruins then host the Anaheim Ducks and Colorado Avalanche later in the week. Bruce Cassidy said that he'll be out tomorrow, as well as Bruins forward Anton Blythe, who received a hit from Tom Wilson and sustained an upper body injury. But they're not expected to play tomorrow. And Cassidy says we'll get a better idea after a couple of days there. And going on here, the Jake Allen is out with injury for the Montreal Canadiens. He's week to week now. And he had an MRI earlier this week. And of course, the Canadiens have the worst record in the National Hockey League. Sam Montembeault and Caden Prebo are the goaltenders right now, and he, of course, they're already with Montreal. Carey Price has had to restart rehabilitation to his surgically repaired knee, and it's so more injury news out of Montreal. Of course, they've hired Kent Hughes. Of course, as we mentioned, the Canucks play in Florida tonight, and JT Miller and Thatcher Demko entered protocol. Of course, Halak is also in protocol as well. Connor Garland and Bo Horvat are in protocol. Spencer Martin is expected to be the starter tonight. And 5 years to the day that he did start, Michael DiPietro will be the backup. And also Travis Hamonic still out. He hasn't played since December the 8th, by the way. So that's also there. Seth Jones and Dylan Strome are expected to play for against the Wild tonight, returning for the Chicago Blackhawks. Pavel Buchnevich has been removed for COVID protocol. He will play tonight. He's expected to play tonight against the Seattle Kraken. And Mark Stone was placed in protocol. He did not play against the Montreal Canadiens last night. The Golden Knights did beat the Canadiens last night. And Nicholas Hague was also placed in protocol and is unavailable as well. And also in Philadelphia, we have Joel Farabi. He is now, of course, he's third on the Flyers with 11 goals. He's out for 4 weeks with an upper body injury. He sustained that. Back when they played the New York Islanders on Saturday, and Farabi, that was the initial injury. He played last night against the Blue Jackets, and he was injured there as well. So couple of big injury, long time there. So Farabi has been placed on injury reserve. Kevin Hayes had surgery Tuesday to have fluid drained from the adductor region of his hip, and Hayes is expected to be out 3 to 4 weeks. The Flyers are on a long losing streak. They have lost 10 in a row. The second time this season they've actually been on a 10-game losing streak. They are currently 14 points out of a playoff spot in Philadelphia. Of course, the game that I think everyone is going to be focused on this weekend is the Calgary Flames and the Edmonton Oilers, the Battle of Alberta. The Oilers again lost last night to the Florida Panthers 6-0. They questions of goaltending, questions of coaching, questions of changes around here. Actually, the Vancouver Canucks, by the way, have passed the Edmonton Oilers in the standings. The Canucks 18-3 for 39 points. The Oilers coming in 18-16-2 for 38 points. They have lost 7 straight. They've 2 of their last 14. And it's Darnell Nurse says this is the time that they need to see leadership, not when things are going well. Questions of Dave Tippett, questions of Ken Holland, questions of getting a goaltender in Edmonton. If they do lose to Calgary, I think that will be a very interesting weekend in Edmonton. And even if they win in Calgary, I don't know if it necessarily sends the birds away. I think that they need to get on a streak and start getting themselves back into it. The good news, if you're an Oilers fan, and if you're a Flames fan, the Oilers are 6 points out of a playoff spot, but they have 5 games in hand, of course, with all those postponed games to the San Jose Sharks. The Flames have 6 games in hand as well. The Flames are not going too much better. They just ended a 4-game losing streak to the Florida Panthers, but they've only won 3 of their last 10 as well. So no guarantees that the Flames come away with a victory necessarily over the Oilers, but that will probably be the big game that we are everyone will be paying attention to this week. Some WHL news, of course, the Brandon Wheat Kings and Kelowna Rockets have had their games postponed this weekend. The Rockets were heading to Everett to play the Silvertips. That game has been rescheduled to February. The Rockets were also headed to Vancouver to play the Giants. That game, as of yet, has not been rescheduled. But there are several games to watch. The Blazers are going to debut Luke Toporowski and Drew Englot again as they acquired those folks on the trade deadline as well. Toporowski has been on a line with Logan Stankoven in practice, so that will be interesting. Lucas Shevgowski, Pittsburgh Penguins draftee, could feature with the Seattle Thunderbirds tonight. Carson Hopo is expected to make his Lethbridge Hurricanes debut tonight when they host the Red Deer Rebels. And so, of course, the other one, the big news from the trade deadline was Justin Sordev traded from the Giants to the Edmonton Oil Kings as well. So full slate of games for the most part for WHL hockey tonight. But as there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games tonight in the WHL. So the bad news is the Regina Pats, Brandon Wheat Kings game postponed, and those 2 Kelowna Rockets games postponed as well. So that is our news for the day. Again, you can follow us individually on Twitter. Sean Beardy Canuck 03. Tyler is TNOBLE. Schneids, Chris is Schneids, SCHNEIDZ. Devin Gordhow 09. I am KEVOLE. Follow us on Twitter, Shifts and Pucks. We can also Facebook.com Shifts and Pucks Podcast, YouTube.com Shifts and Pucks Podcast. Again, thank you for subscribing. Twitch Shifts and Pucks. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Google, Spotify. Hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, leave us a review. And we'll be back, of course, Monday. We will have our live podcast focusing on the Canucks and the rest of the National Hockey League. We'll be live at 6:30 Pacific, 7:30 Mountain is the scheduled time. We will talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.